to become a digital champion.
Good afternoon, jank enthusiasts.
Welcome to Armor Break. Good day, tamers, duelists, and planeswalkers. For I have brought you a deck like no other has been seen before, with armor texture. Which, let me correct you here, I hate the name. I think Armor Break, Armor Burst, Armor Swap, Form Change, and a few other things could have been better in the situation. But I am not Bandai, and I think it's something to do with the naming textures of the words, pun not intended, because in the Japanese it's Digimental Burst or something like that. But yeah, I think Burst would have been a better term, but I'm calling these decks Armor Breaks because why not? So, thank you for joining me. It's been a while. It's been 3 months since I think I did a fully edited video, so thanks for being here. But yeah, this is the closest Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are going to get to a Digimon version of a hero deck. And if you didn't know, my favourite deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Heroes, because Heroes is fantastic. I love Heroes. I think Heroes is probably the best thing ever, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we get in Power of the Elements, whatever it's called. But for now, throw it into the bin. Here we are. So, our first card today that's Veemon, or at least this is the BT8 Veemon, and you can see a lot of Veemons in this deck because it's essentially a Veemon deck, and there's been a few things later on, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. So, the BT8 Veemon is an on-play effect for Digimon, which reveals top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-colour blue card amongst them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Funnily enough, the 3 different armor evolutions for Veemon are blue and a different colour, so we'll get into them later. But this is a fantastic card. It's great for your on-play effect. It does cost 3, which isn't terrible for such a good on-play effect as this, especially if you could have got down one of the 3 to evolve once on top of your egg this turn. Now, the next one we're going to be looking at is the Jamming Veemon, and this is just probably one of the best rookies we've ever had in blue, which essentially means that when you hit into a security with the Digimon, it doesn't activate any of the Digimon's damaging ability. So, punch away, Veemon, you crazy little guy. He's been fantastic since BT3, and he's going to be fantastic probably for the rest of eternity if jamming stays as good as it is. That being said, the artwork here is from the Ultimate Cup, as you'll probably see in the artwork, which is a prize-winning card. I think it's top 128, could be wrong. So, I think that's like 3 or 4 rounds of winnery before you can get your hands on one of these cards. But beautiful artwork, and good luck to those who have been able to get one. And if this is before the championship when you see this, good luck as well. So, the third rookie we're going to find now is a Veemon, and funny enough, it is the EX1 Veemon, and this is the inherited effect of when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory. Now, the reason why this is good is because it actually combos off with a card we'll see later on, which it's going to be good just because gaining memory is pretty good in all colours, but blues are very good at getting memory back. So it does just benefit this deck a little bit more of being very, very aggressive, which this version of the deck is still very aggressive, plus other reasons, but nonetheless. And then our 4th rookie is also going to be another Veemon. Now, personally speaking, it doesn't really matter which you choose, it's probably just more likely of when it's going to be more effective in your deck. You can choose the ST8 Veemon, which is the when attacking substrate, if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, trigger draw 1. It's going to be pretty good if you are doing a lot of armoring backwards and forwards. It makes more sense because you just want to replenish your hand as much as possible. You could also use the old school one from BT2, which is inherited effect of your turn, once per turn. When this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, trigger draw 1. Again, this deck will do both of these things, and it will be triggering when it wishes to. So, for instance, we'll get to it later and you'll see. But again, this is going to be one of those situations of, do you want to have the deck one more likely, or do you want to have the old BT2 one? BT2 one does have a nice auto art reprint if you're looking to enter the Gen Con, and I think it was DX Circle competitions last year. If you don't, it might be a bit expensive to get hold of these, but they are very nice, and I do love that. I have my own playset, so I do apologise. But again, it's more likely one. If you do want to have more rookies, some people do want to have more rookies, and that's down to you, then you can happily go and get yourself a playset of each, and that's 16 rookies that you've got access to. But in a deck like this, which is technically like a champion rush deck, you don't necessarily want to have just rookie. But as I said before, all these rookies are pretty good. You could also get access to the 5th Veemon rookie, which the Veemon from the structure deck, which is part of what this deck's going to be about anyway. Later on, as like a tech option, I suppose, but people are playing this as it is. Yeah, so the Veemon from the deck actually finds all the other Veemons and every single evolved form of Veemon, which sounds very weird, but is actually quite a good tech choice if you're able to get hold of them. Shouldn't be hard to get hold of these. I do think they are getting better in terms of stockage in the world. I don't really know how to say this. But on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with free illustrates amongst them to your hand, place your remaining cards in the bottom of your deck in any order. And again, as I've said, Veemon are all free traded Digimon, and then all of Veemon's evolutions, even up to I think it's level 7, are all free typed Digimon. So this Veemon just searches all of them. Again, it's up to you. So that they do have 20-able cards of just Veemon if you really want to. I don't think people are playing 20. I think most people are playing between the usual 12 to 16. Again, it's up to you what you prefer. I do think that the BT2 Veemon probably won't get played that much, or you'll play like 1 or 2 of in a deck, and it'll probably be usurped by this Searcher, because this Searcher is fantastic, as well as the lovely full art, funny foily one from the deck that we spoke about earlier. That being said, let's move on to your champions of choice, and these are going to be some funny boys. Let's start off with the best one, Paildramon, which is evolved 2 from Veemon. Armor Purge. When this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash the top card of this Digimon to prevent that deletion. So the best way to describe this is for Magic players, this is Totem Armor, and for Hero players, this is not going to happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I think Heroes would be broken then. But it's essentially an extra life. So you de-Digivolve from your level 4 to your level 3, so you go back to Veemon. And the best thing about this is essentially when you smash into security, if you do die, you just go, oh no, my armor fell off, and you go back to being a Veemon, and then if you got the memory for it, you evolve back up into an armor form and swing again, if you can unsuspend, which we'll come across later. And then when attacking, you gain 3000 DP for the turn. So essentially on attacks, Paildramon is actually an 8k Digimon. It's pretty good. 8Ks will get over most of the early game blockers. And just because of how this deck kind of works, it's not massively super duper murdered by everything. It's just stuck a lot of the time. But it's actually really good. If you've seen what Rookie Rush does, this is kind of like Rookie Rush, just in a more aggressive champion-based deck, which I think is actually really good. Our secondary card is Paildramon, which I'm going to refer to from now on as Raydramon, because that's what I grew up with. The card's cool. Don't destroy our poor childhood, you horrible monsters. And again, this is a Digivolve 2 from Veemon. Armor Purge. When this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash the top cards of this Digimon to prevent that deletion. Then when Digivolving, suspend one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. This is pretty good, because 9 times out of 10, if an opponent has a blocker, it's going to be a level 4. Especially if it's like a Mechanorimon. And that's a 6k DP blocker, I think it is. So for Paildramon, that's pretty good in the sense of, oh yeah, I'll just, evolve into this, suspend the blocker, and now, you swing through if you're unsuspended. And if not, there's ways of actually getting that, but we'll get there later on. And then, finally, our third form for now. Later on, we do actually get a chance to access a 4th one, technically. That's much further down the line. And that's Magnamon. Magnamon is a level 4 Digivolves for free from Veemon, as in the number 3, not the term 3. It's a blocker. Also has Armor Purge, which at this point is when this Digimon would be deleted, you may trash the top card of this Digimon to prevent that deletion. When Digivolving, unsuspend this Digimon. Fantastic. And it gets 2000 DP until the end of your opponent's next turn, so this also helps when you're in the blocking mode. For each card with armor form in your trash. So if you basically just cycle through your armor stuff, and you've got 8 armors in the trash already, and now you're just saving all your Magnamons basically for this, you now have like a 25k blocking body of doom sitting in front of your opponent, and most cards can't deal with that because 25k is very, very big, and you just aggressively punch down on your opponent and tell them when it sucks to be you, because that is the win con. This card is actually really good, and I don't really think most games get to the point where you're going to be doing that unless there's some weird janky way of actually putting cards into your trash as a blue, green, or red. deck, also yellow because of this. But I don't think those colours normally want to put things in the trash as standard. Now, if you can kind of mix in purple, which I think would be a bit too much for this deck because you don't want to shake it up too much, you could possibly figure out a way of just throwing things right into the trash and having these massive Magnamons on the field just causing havoc. But those would be our champion level Digimon. You do want to run 4 of each of these, that'd be 12. In BT9, you do get access to Magnamon X, which is a level 6 Digimon, which reads as Evolution 4 from Magnamon, so you're going to go from level 4 to level 6. And the reason I think these are level 6 as opposed to being like a level 4 or like a level 5 is because it is an X antibody and it's just a very effectively aggressive card. The Evolution 4 from Magnamon, the opponent's turn, when an opponent's Digimon attacks, if this evolution source has a Digimon card with antibody in or armor, the target of the attack is this Digimon, can be changed. All turns, when this Digimon disappears, it will not disappear by placing one of the cards stacked on this Digimon face down on your security. So essentially what this is, I think this is a replacement effect. So Yellow's had this one before, and this card's yellow-blue as opposed to be blue-yellow. So essentially it's when you somehow kill this Digimon, because I don't think many people are playing the armor decks in BT9 right now, to be fair. It just goes onto your security stack. So essentially, if you lose a body, you get a blocker, an attacking blocker into your security, which is pretty good. As I don't think jamming's seen either at the moment in BT9, but I think the whole deck premises around this is just more bodies, and because it is an armor type, it does go into the grave, and then your level 4 Magnamons get bigger again. As far as I'm aware, the issue is obviously this is a Japanese only card, and I can't really tell from just looking at it if that is the case or not. It just have like the armor texty thing in it, but again I can't really tell from looking at it because I don't read Japanese. I'm sure it is a Japanese word for like armor. And then our next little section here will actually be our level 5s. And you might be thinking, well, this is an armor deck, why do you want level 5s? And the only reason we're going to play level 5s is because we want Paildramon. And this Paildramon is fantastic. Now, I'm going to be wrong here probably, and I'm probably thinking this is because I'm so smart in my big brain, but I'm probably definitely wrong. And that is if there's 2 armor bodies on the field and you want to go for game, I'm pretty sure you can use them both to DNA Digivolve into the Paildramon for 0, and then you unsuspend and you can pop off and win again on that. As we spoke about before, there are parts of like the Veemon line that want you to unsuspend, probably gain a memory rather than a draw, which is pretty good, as it's really nice to be able to just draw when you need it. It's also very nice just to gain memory when you need it. But I do think that could be a possibility in this, so you're going to have roughly, within reason, because my brain doesn't work all the time, 32 Digimon cards in this deck. And if that's the case and that's all you need in this deck, then I think you can get access to a lot more option cards, because this deck can run a lot of option cards that are really good because of armors, and we'll go through these now. And they're going to be Fire Rocket! While you have a Digimon with armor form in its traits in play, you may use this card without matching its color requirements. So normally, if you didn't know, you'd have to have a red card in play for you to be able to do this. A lot of people are probably thinking, oh, I'm just going to use this on my Flamedramon. Obviously, you don't have to. You can use this on both of your Lydramon, Raydramon, as well as Magnamon, and possibly Magnamon X in the future if you really wanted to. This is really good in more ways than one, and that is main one. If one of your Digimon with 2 or more colors gains security attack +1, really good for a deck that's probably not going to be able to have the access to these kind of things, especially in a deck like this where it's a lot of low punching weights. And the good thing about this deck as well is it comes around after what we just had is the hybrid format, so a lot of things are quite low. So in a format where a lot of your opponent's Digimon aren't going to have like 8k DP in security, we have to punch twice. It's pretty good. Our second option card is a Lightning Blade, which a lot of people make the joke is Chidori, but maybe. While you have a Digimon with armor form in traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Main 1. If your Digimon with 2 or more colors get 2000 DP and Piercing. Piercing is fantastic in any deck, especially if you know that your opponent's going to have a blocker because you've just Fire Rocketed, and they're thinking like, oh well, I might as well block it so you don't get the extra security. Well, you also might have a Lightning Blade in play. Oh, also I forgot the other thing. Fire Rocket also has the ability that when in security, it just deletes one of your opponent's blockers, which I think is really good. Lightning Blade in security has the suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, which is also really good because suspending Digimon in green is always fantastic, and just having the option to do heinous things, especially if it pops in security and you have an extra one in your hand. Now again, I don't know if you're going to run these at 4 or if you're going to run these at 2, because these are very weird-esque pseudo like needle sprays from security / like flower cannons. It's very weird area. I'm not too sure what you want to do with this. And personally, I don't know how you feel about running like our max option deck that isn't security control, because most people probably feel that's a bit scary. We also have Plasma Shot, which is while you have a Digimon with Armor form in its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Main, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 4000 DP for the turn. And all of your opponent's Digimon get 1000 DP for the turn, each card with Armor form in its traits in your trash. This card is oddly very good. It's a 4 cost, and you activate it from your security the same way as you would your main if you're paying it. Late game, if you get there, you've been having a very good back and forwards game and no one's really like pipping out, but your opponents started to get a bit wide because they want to try and take in, and they hit this in security, GG, because your opponent's probably going to have at least like one Digimon take 12k and the rest are going to be 8ks. This can be definitely a very scary card towards the end game. And then we have what we started this video off with, Armor Texture. Again, I do wish this was like Armor Break or Armor Burst or Armor Change or Form Change or anything that wasn't just texture. I don't like the term texture. If it was like Digi-Egg or Digimental, like, I don't mind when they change the terms when they're correct. I just don't like the term texture. While you have Digimon with Armor form in its traits in play, you may use this card without meeting its color requirements. Main, trash the top card of one of your Digimon with Armor form in its traits. Then you may Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with Armor form in its traits for its Digimon cost. If you do, unsuspend that Digimon. And again, this is another way that we can unsuspend Digimon during our turn, well, especially our main phase, and gain extra little ticks from it. And security, play one level 3 Digimon with 3 in its traits from your hand or trash without paying its memory cost. Yeah, this card, it's 0 cost, and security effect is just put a body on the field. If your opponent like does this, and they have no more Digimon to destroy you with, or they go into a blitz hits the security, pops this card, fantastic. You've now got a Digimon that can attack your turn because it was technically brought out in your opponent's end phase. I think that's how this works, rather than your main start phase. So yeah, so you would have a Digimon that could then just go crazy and start throwing hands, basically. But yeah, these are very good 4 option cards that you can use, which would put this deck at, I believe, oh man, math is hard. So another 16 would be 48. I think you've got 2 slots left, so you probably would not run these at such max capacity, but you could definitely run Armor Texture at least of a 2 of, probably a 3 of. Red Rockets and Lightning Blade you probably want to run of at least 2 of as well. So there's 6, which will leave you at 38. Plasma's pretty good. It's very expensive, but it's kind of one of those cards you want to find in securities, especially towards the end of security. So again, you might want to run 2 to 4 of those just in case. I think it all depends on how you feel your deck should run. And this is like, do you want to be more aggressive or do you want to be more defensive? Yeah, I think mixing and matching, like where you want your 2s, your 1s, your 4s, and your 3s, that is probably going to be the best bet for you. But you probably want to sort of end around having 42-ish cards at this point, so you probably want to have like 10 options available of this. Then you also want to think of your other good staples. So you could look at having Hammer Sparks in here, you can have a look at having one of the Ice Walls in here, as it is only one of now. You've also got to think of what tamers you want here. Well, there's no real like question of what tamers you want in here, because there's 2 tamers you want in here. You want the original Davis, and you want the new Davis and Ken card. And the reason why you want those is just because they're fantastic. Davis Motomiya. He is from BT3. He's the coolest blue tamer that we've probably had at this point. Others are really good at what they do, but Davis is just phenomenal in what he is. But he is a memory setting tamer. Start of your turn, if you don't have 2 memory or less, so you move to 3. On play, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 blue, add 1 green Digimon card, amongst them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. In a deck that every single card is either blue or green, 32 of your searches are going to be found. You have up to 8 Veemons in your deck that also then search for more cards. You have a searcher that searches your searchers that are searching. The card is fantastic. In security, you play this card without paying its memory cost. That includes its on-play effect. I think there's a card later in the game that stops on-play effects as well, but for now, Davis is just a beast of a card, and has been for well over a year. Now, the other card you want to talk about for tamers is the Davis, Mutamiya, and the Ken Ichijoji. No. Not the Ichijoji you're thinking of right now.
It's time to stop!
The Digimon Emperor. But we'll leave that there. So for your main phase, if you have a blue Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. If you have a green Digimon in play, gain 1 memory. Your turn. When one of your Digimon digivolves into a Digimon with 2 or more colours, you may suspend this tamer to unsuspend that Digimon. That means in a deck like this, you can easily be having your Digimon unsuspend on your turn up to 3 times for various actions. What this also means is there's a good chance that if your Digimon doesn't die instantly from being smashed into the wall, you're probably going to win a lot of your games with this Champion Rush version of. Now we do see more support for this in BT9, the Magnamon X antibody, but I don't think that's getting used much. I don't think that armor really sees much play outside of the BT8 meta. With that being said, thank you for being here, Tamers. It's been a pleasure as always. Sorry it's been 3 months since the last video update. I hope to get more videos out like this soon, as there's quite a few decks in this format again that do see a lot of play, and they're really good. So, that's all from me, Agia Swiftly. Hope you guys are fantastic. As always, guys, stay safe, but keep on playing, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Peace out. Goodbye.